Hello everybody, today we're going to be reading Bill Clinton My Life and
this is
day 17? 16. And I'm Tien and this is my brother Trunk, and let's get started.
I just need to find where you were. Do you remember what we were up to? Do you remember what we were up to?
Wasn't it on the other page?
No, the bookmark was here.
Oh, yeah. At the surgery? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was yeah. No, we read the oldest thing a bit. But I think it's at those is the last part I read.
June Daisy.
Yeah. Yeah, the second son. Okay, now let's get started. Wait, are we on the other page? Because I think we're on My Life. Just read from here. Okay, now let's get started.
The second son, Uncle Roy, had a feed store. His wife, Janet, and mother were the two strongest personalities outside the blood family and became great friends. In the early 50s, Roy ran for the legislature and won. On election day, we did read this part. Yeah.
Nass? Oh, yeah, we went up to Nass. That's where we went.
Okay. Mother always had an ambitious relationship with Raymond because he liked to run everything, and because of Daddy's drinking, we often needed his help more than she wanted it. When we first moved to Hot Springs,
Not sure, we already read this too.
Sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Go on then. Go on. Sorry about that, we are just a bit confused on which pages.
Notwithstanding Mother's reservations, I liked Raymond. I was impressed with his strength, his influence in town, and his genuine interest in kids, and in me. His egocentric foibles didn't bother me much, though we were as different as daylight and dark. In 1968, when I was giving pro-civil rights talks to civic clubs in Hot Springs, Raymond was supporting George Wallace for president. But in 1974, when I launched an apparently impossible campaign for Congress, Raymond and Gabe Crawford co-signed a $10,000 note to get me started. It is all the money in the world to me then. When his wife of more than 45 years died, Raymond got reacquainted with a widow he had dated in high school, and they married, bringing happiness to his last years. For some reason, I can't even remember now, Raymond got mad at me late in his life, because before we could reconcile, he got Alzheimer's. I went to visit him twice, once in St. Joseph's Hospital and once in a nursing home. The first time I told him I loved him, was sorry for whatever had become between us, and would always be grateful for all he'd done for me. He might have known who I was for a minute or two. I can't be sure. The second time I know he didn't know me, but I wanted to see him once more anyway. He died at 84.
Can you read?
He died at 84, like Aunt Ollie, well after his mind had gone. Raymond and his family lived in a big house on Lake Hamilton, where we used to go for picnics and ride in his big wooden Chris Craft boat. We celebrated every 4th of July there with lots of fireworks. After his death, Raymond's kids decided with sadness that they had to sell the old house. Luckily, my library and foundation needed a retreat, so we bought the place and are renovating it for that purpose. And Raymond's kids and grandkids can still use it. He's smiling down on me now.
Not long after, we moved to Park Avenue in 1955. I think my mother's parents moved to Hot Springs to a little apartment in an old house on our street, a mile or so toward town. From our place, the move was motivated primarily by health concerns. Papa's
Bronchitis
continued to advance, and Mama had a stroke. Papa got a job at a liquor store, which I think Daddy owned a part of, just across from Mr. Bryzendine's barber shop. He had a lot of free time since even in the Hot Springs, most people were too conventional to frequent liquor stores in broad daylight. So I often visited him there. He played a lot of solitaire and taught me how I still play 3 different kinds. Often when I'm thinking through a problem and need an outlet for nervous energy. Mama's stroke was a major one, and in the aftermath, she was racked by hysterical screaming. Unforgivably, to calm her down, her doctor prescribed morphine, lots of it. It was when she got hooked that Mother brought her Papa to Hot Springs. Her behavior became even more irrational, and in desperation, Mother reluctantly committed her to the state's mental hospital about 30 miles away. I don't think there were any drug treatment facilities back then.
Of course, I didn't know anything about her problem at the time. I just knew she was sick. Then Mother drove me over to the state hospital to see her. It was awful. It was bedlam. We went into a big open room cooled by electric fans, encased in a huge metal mesh to keep the patients from putting their hands into them. Dazed-looking people dressed in loose cotton dresses or pajamas walked around aimlessly, muttering to themselves, shouting into space, or shouting into space. Still, Mama seemed normal and glad to see us, and we had a good talk. After a few months, she had settled down enough to come home, and she was never again on morphine. Her problem gave me a first exposure to the kind of mental health system that served most of America back then. When he became governor, Oral Forbes modernized our state hospital and put a lot more money into it, despite the damage he did in other areas. I was always grateful to him for that.
Okay, thank you, Julie and Dean, for today.
Yeah.
can you tell me what problem today?
Oh.
The problem is what that.
Yeah, we're just tired. We're yawning a lot.
But the first problem when
Yeah,
you read the book,
we couldn't
we forget.
find.
So how to make next time not forget?
Right, that's
You
right.
have any idea?
Yeah. This time around we're starting at the new chapter now.
I know, but then just in case if you forget it, you had 3 days, 4 days if I don't touch the book, right? You will forget. Do you have some idea? Tell me some idea can make you not forget.
We don't know. Maybe just write it in the book.
Any idea? Do you need to watching back?
We could like write down the page and the line that we were on.
What you pen for? Do you any idea with the pen?
To
Pencil or something?
To write it down.
Right there or just one thought? One map?
To write it down.
No, because Matt,
Hmm?
we could put the card in, then we could go like the
Yep.
line, like
Okay.
12 or something.
Yep.
Like line 12.
So you have some map or something, okay? Later on.